So I was working with a client the other day, a beautiful man who I've been working with for the last 10 or 12 years. And he's just remarkable in his ability to really take everything that we work on and integrate it into his life, and work with his growth and his evolution in such a conscious and devotional way. And one of the things he mentioned was that he's noticing that even when his disparaging voices, even when they get really loud and insistent, he is still able to stay rested in his grace of peace and not be hooked, not be swayed, even though the voices get really loud sometimes and really insistent, especially when life gets extra challenging. And we came upon this wonderful and kind of analogy. It's a fun thing. Consider this. Imagine if somebody came up to you and even whispered, 2 plus 2 is 7. You would look at them and you would say, no, it's not. You wouldn't be swayed. There'd be no shift. You wouldn't doubt. You wouldn't go, really? Is it really? No, you'd go, you know the truth. 2 plus 2 is 4. So you would just go, no, it's not. And what if they said, no, 2 plus 2 is 7. And they got a little bit louder, a little bit more aggressive. You'd still say, no, it's not. And what if they got to the point of just going, 2 plus 2 is 7? You still would know the truth. And you would look at them and you would say, it doesn't matter how loud you get. It doesn't matter how insistent you get. I know that that isn't true. So I'm unswayed. And the invitation here is to be in our practices, to be in our studies of know thyself, the true nature of our being, beyond all of our narratives, beyond all of our stories, beyond the personal identification that keeps changing and shifting depending on whether I'm successful, therefore I'm a good person, or I'm a failure at this over here and therefore I should be ashamed. When we're able to know the true nature of our being as unconditioned, divine consciousness, loving awareness, transcendent of the body, mind, ego story self, when we come to know our divinity, our grace, with such clarity and faith, that even when our mind tells us disparaging stories about ourselves, we no longer believe them, even when they get loud and really vociferous. This is the value of doing our work, of being in our practices, of attending to our studies. This is the value of waking up as who we really are, and knowing that, abiding that with such clarity, because we've experienced the truth of our being again and again and again and again. And it's always solid. It's always unconditional loving awareness, unconditioned divine consciousness, the essence of our being, the formless nature of our being. And we know that. So even when the voices get really loud and insistent, we can stay at peace, because that is what we are. We are peace. That is the essential nature of our being. And I'll leave you with this. This is another little analogy, and I'm sure maybe many of you have experienced this. If you've been traveling in a foreign country, and let's say you're traveling with another English speaker, and they don't speak the local language, and they might say to somebody local who doesn't speak English, let's say, they might say to them, where can I buy some milk? And the person would look at them and go, lo siento, yo no entiendo, I don't understand. And what if they said, where can I buy some milk? the person would still say, look, I still don't understand. And then the person would get really, really upset and really insistent and really loud. Where can I buy some milk? The person would still look at them and go, look, man, you can get as loud as you want. What you're saying makes no sense to me. So play with this in your own life. Just, we're all ideally aware of the insistence of our narrative, of our story, which is just a construct of mind. And the mind's always making things up, especially about ourselves. And what if you could say, look, I know the truth, and the truth is unwavering. I am a beautiful divine consciousness, regardless of anything that is occurring in my life, regardless of any external circumstance or condition or relationship. I know the beauty of my divine grace, and I am that. And so even when our mind gets really loud and really insistent with its untruths, 2 + 2 is 7, we can still just look at that and go, okay, boy, you're really insistent today, but what you're saying is still untrue. All right, my friends, enjoy. Have fun with this. All right, be well.